Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see you now.
I can see us.
We are
Hare
here.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all Guru
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Dandavat pranams.
All the senior Vaishnavas, please.
कैसे हो?
Senior Prabhuji.
Very nice to see you.
Ahead.
Zoom is such an amazing thing, technology. We can,
Yeah.
other than marriage, we can do everything in Zoom.
Yeah. Marriage also you can do.
Virtual marriage.
Yeah, virtual. And then you know what, just stay apart. So no
Yeah.
fight.
Right. Okay. Very nice, Mataji. Very nice. To see the whole family together.
Yeah. Come close, Dada.
All right. Don't worry.
Let me share my content. See if you can see screen recording.
Where is this Prabhuji who's going to talk?
Mumbai.
Where's this Prabhuji who's going to give class?
He's going to cause some.
From Bombay, Chapati?
That's
Yeah, he's going to give on 6th of May.
Oh, not today?
not today.
No, not today. Today
We're just reading.
today we'll just read.
Okay.
On our own.
Yeah.
Put that away.
Put it on.
Admit. Okay, there are more people joining. So we have come up with this reading
Very
because
good.
today is a very auspicious day, right? Today is
Tamas.
Rani's appearance day.
Yes.
Very auspicious. So we thought we'll start this day with setting up the mood for Narasimha Chaturdashi coming up on May 6th. Hare Krishna, Shiva Prabhu.
Oh,
Hare Krishna.
wow.
Very nice to see.
Hare Krishna, Tarun.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So more people are joining. We'll give just a couple of minutes and then we'll start. So the plan here is as explained in the document which I sent. So since today is a very auspicious day of Sita Mataji's appearance day, Rama's consort. So we thought we'll start with reading Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very wonderful pastimes of Lord Narasimha Dev and Prahlad Maharaj, Canto 7. So when it comes to the 6th of this month, by then we would have completed the whole reading of Bhagavatam 7th Canto. Okay, so that the mood is set for Narasimha Chaturdashi on 6th.
Yeah.
Along with that reading, there is also a sketch art for kids and adults also. They both can do together. This is a family event basically. So everyone can come up with a nice art depicting Narasimha Dev's pastimes. You can take any picture basically. You know, not that Narasimha Dev is ripping off Hiranyakashipu's stomach or anything like that. You can choose.
We have nothing there.
You can choose any picture. Okay, so you can start from today. It might be you would have already started. So on 6th, we will have a display, demonstration. Okay, and also about the drama. So you all are well versed with the script actually. This is not the first time we are doing as a Bensalem team. That we have been doing, right? A couple of years at the temple. So you all know, you all have the script. So please practice as a family. Please practice. Okay, so each person can be one character. Hiranyakashipu, Narasimha Dev, Prahlad Maharaj, Shanda Marka, or any character, whatever you want to choose. So family will get about 10 minutes time for demonstrating on the day of Narasimha Chaturdashi. So you all are ready?
Just 1 second.
We're getting the Bhagavatam,
Oh, okay, Prabhu.
but the wrong one. Canto which one?
Canto 7,
Okay.
Signs of God.
Okay, okay, very good, very good.
So the whole canto basically mainly deals with Prahlad Maharaj pastime. Lord
Yeah.
Narasimha. Okay.
Which
Are you
part?
interested in participating drama also, Prabhu? On the day of Narasimha Chaturdashi?
Prabhuji, which part? Part 1, 7th canto?
Yeah, 7th canto. So today we will read chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3.
Yeah, but
So
what
we'll start with the summary.
Okay, part 1 or what?
Chapter 1,
Oh, Canto 7, part what?
Canto 7. That is part 1.
Part 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, start part 1.
Okay.
Sorry.
Part 1. And what is the number?
Prabhuji, you can share the screen, Prabhuji.
7.1.1. Let me share my screen. Let's see. Screen. So stop recording. Okay. How do I share the screen?
Prabhuji,
At the
there is
bottom,
there is share. Share.
Camera share.
I got it. You got it.
I have some issue with sharing. Let me see what I can do.
Bottom that you should see a screen.
No, I have a share content, but
Can you see
it'll open again.
gallery view?
Zoom. Start broadcasting.
Are you on speaker view or gallery view?
Go on again.
Now we have this. It came,
Now?
and went.
Huh?
It came and went back, Prabhuji.
Okay. Start broadcast.
The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see now, right?
1, 3.
Can you see screen now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so wonderful. So this is the plan today and tomorrow. Today it will go on to 9:30. Tomorrow we'll start at 2 p.m. 2 to 4 p.m. So
Okay.
each person can take one chapter or split among number of texts. Okay, if it
Okay.
is too much. Okay, but we can cover it. We can cover the whole thing. And Sunday also 2 to 4 p.m. Sunday we'll read 6 chapters, and tomorrow we'll read 6 chapters. Today 3 chapters. So we'll cover 15 chapters.
What about that program you're having for the children? You said art and all that. When is that time?
Yeah, so that will start today as a practice. On 6th of May, which is the actual festival day, Narasimha Chaturdashi. So
Right.
everyone to demonstrate what they have done, art. And also there'll be a drama on 6th. Okay, drama will be at 8:30 p.m. Okay, so lecture will be from 7 p.m. by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. So please don't miss that. Before that, at 6 o'clock, which starts at 6, you can read your prayers. So you can think about offering your own prayers to Lord Narasimha Dev
Okay.
or Prahlad Maharaj. So you can write your own words in English. Then you can read those prayers. So how Lord Narasimha Dev has impacted your life, and Prahlad Maharaj, and whatever you want to. So that you can read at 6 p.m. on the day of festival. And then 6:30 there'll be art display by every family, maybe 2-3 minutes per family. And then 7 o'clock it'll be Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's lecture until 8:15. So there'll be 10 to 15 minutes gap where we can get prepared for the drama. So we are doing drama, right? So each family can demonstrate or display, whatever you call, but each family can play the enact. So all the characters among your own family members. Okay, that will be at 8:30 to 9:30, and then we'll end at 9:30 by Narasimha prayer. Okay, so before that we have other activities also. Like on Tuesday we have reading of Narasimha prayer followed by the meaning of it, Narasimha prayer meaning. Okay, so we have been singing Narasimha prayer for a while, so we should know exactly what it means, every word of it, and then unless we know the meaning, we don't really involve deeply while praying. Okay, and then Narasimha Kavacha we'll do on Monday. Narasimha Kavacha is, there are many slokas, so we can read, each person can read. We don't have to repeat, it's very difficult, but each person can read the entire sloka once. So whoever wants to do that, they can. It will take time. So we have 8:30 to 9:30 on Monday to do Narasimha Kavacha. So those are very, very powerful mantra.
Yes.
So that is the program. So today we'll start. We already spent 12 minutes. So it's better we'll start now. So Prabhuji, I would like you to start. You are our senior most devotee. Prabhuji and Mata, you can start.
I don't mind. I'm senior most age only.
Don't laugh.
Okay, Prabhu. We need your blessing.
All right, Prabhuji, we'll start. Haribol.
Yeah, you can start with summary. There is a summary, 7.1 summary, and then you can continue as long as you want. If you want to end or if you want to pass, you can pass to Mataji, and then we can take.
Where is the summary?
When you say 7.1,
It looks like it disappeared.
summary?
The summary, 7.1 is summary.
Yeah, but where is it in the book?
I just see chapter 1.
No, here, look at the screen.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay. In this chapter.
Srimad Bhagavatam 7.1.
No.
Okay, it's okay. We can read from
We'll
there.
start with our prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Grantrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Yay!
Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai.
Yay!
Prabhuji, you can start, Prabhu.
Haribol. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pisthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharana Nirvisheshan. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Nityananda.
Shiva Sari Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai.
Hey.
Bhaktivedanta Veda base Srimad Bhagavatam .1 summary. Chapter 1 is Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. Wait a minute, let me set properly.
In this chapter, in response to the question.
In this chapter, in response to a question by Maharaj Pariksit, Sukadeva Goswami gives his conclusions concerning how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although the Super Soul, friend and protector of everyone, killed the Daityas, the demons, for the sake of Indra, the king of heaven. In his statements, he totally refutes the argument of people in general who accuse the Supreme Lord of fighting. Sukadeva Goswami proves that because the body of the conditioned soul is infected by the three qualities of nature, dualities arise such as enmity, attachment, and detachment. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, There are no such dualities. Even eternal time cannot control the activities of the Lord. Eternal time is created by the Lord, and it acts under his control. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore, is always transcendental to the influence of the modes of nature, Maya, the Lord's external energy, which acts in creation and annihilation. Thus, all the demons killed by the Supreme Lord attain salvation immediately. The second question raised by Parikshit Maharaj concerns how Shishupal, although inimical toward Krishna from his very childhood and always blaspheming Krishna, attained salvation in oneness when Krishna killed him. Sukdev Goswami explains that because of their offenses at the feet of devotees, two attendants of the Lord in Vaikuntha, named Jaya and Vijaya, became Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in Satya Yuga, Ravan and Kumkarna in the next Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Shishupal and Dantavakra at the end of Dwapar Yuga. Because of their fruitive acts, Jaya and Vijaya agreed to become the Lord's enemies. And when killed in that mentality, they attained salvation in oneness. Thus, even if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in envy, he attains salvation. What then is to be said of devotees who always engaged in the Lord's service with love and faith? Haribol. You want to read, ma?
So here you can read shloka, translation, and purport.
Okay, you want the Sanskrit, right?
Yes, Sanskrit shloka, not the synonyms. Shloka, translation, and purport.
Okay, very good. Sri Rajovacha Tamapriya Sur Brahman Bhutanam Bhagwan Svayam Indra Swarthe Katham Daityam Avadhi Vishamo Yatha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. King Parikshit inquired, "My dear Brahman, Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, being everyone's well-wisher, is equal and extremely dear to everyone. How then did he become partial like a common man for the sake of Indra and thus kill Indra's enemies? How can a person equal to everyone be partial to some and inimical toward others?" Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita 9.29, the Lord says, "Samo aham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyo sti na priya." I am equal to everyone. No one is dear to me, nor is anyone my enemy. In the previous canto, however, it has been observed that the Lord sided with Indra by killing the demons on his account. Hatha putra diti sakra parsani grahena vishnuna. Therefore, the Lord was clearly partial to Indra, although he is the super soul in everyone's heart. Soul is extremely dear to everyone, and similarly, super soul is also dear to everyone. Thus, there cannot be any faulty action on the part of the super soul. The Lord is always kind to all living entities, irrespective of form and situation. Yet, he took the side of Indra just like an ordinary friend. This was the subject of Parikshit Maharaj's inquiry. As a devotee of Lord Krishna, he knew very well that Krishna cannot be partial to anyone. But when he saw that Krishna acted as the enemy of the demons, he was somewhat doubtful. Therefore, he posed this question to Sukdev Goswami for a clear answer. A devotee cannot accept that Lord Vishnu has material qualifications. Maharaj Parikshit knew perfectly well that Lord Vishnu, being transcendental, has nothing to do with material qualities. But to confirm his conviction, he wanted to hear from the authority Sukdev Goswami. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Samasya Katham Vaishamyam. Since the Lord is equally disposed toward everyone, how can he be partial? Priyasya Katham Asuresu Priti Abhava. The Lord, being the super soul, is extremely dear to everyone. Why then should the Lord display unsympathetic behavior towards the Asuras? How is this impartial? Suhurdas cha katham twas asuhardam. Since the Lord says that he is Suradam, Sarvabhutanam, the well-wisher of all living entities, how could he act with partiality by killing demons? These questions arose in the heart of Parikshit Maharaj, and therefore he inquired from Sukadeva Goswami.
Yeah.
What?
Very nice.
Next. You want to read?
Yeah.
Let Chamal.
Yeah. You sit this side.
Put the chair more forward.
Okay.
You want.
Text number 2. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nahi shyartha suragane ya sakshani shreyasatmanah neva surebhyo vidvesho nadvegascha gunashyahi. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Vishnu himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all pleasure. Therefore, what benefit would he derive from siding with the demigods? What interest would he fulfill in this way? Since the Lord is transcendental, why should he fear the Asuras? And how could he be envious of them? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. We should always remember the distinction between spiritual and material. That which is material is infected by material qualities, but these qualities cannot touch that which is spiritual or transcendental. Krishna is absolute, whether he is in the material world or spiritual world. When we see partiality in Krishna, this vision is due to his external energy. Otherwise, how could his enemies attain salvation after being killed by him? Everyone who deals with the Supreme Personality of Godhead gradually acquires the qualities of the Lord. The more one advances in spiritual consciousness, the less he is affected by the duality of material qualities. The Supreme Lord, therefore, must certainly be freed from these qualities. His enmity and friendship are external features presented by the material energy. He is always transcendental. He is absolute, whether he kills or bestows his favor. Envy and friendship arise in one who is imperfect. We fear our enemies because in the material world, we are always in need of help. The Lord, however, does not need anyone's help, for he is Atmaram. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9.26, Patram puspam phalam toyam yome prayachati tad aham bhaktya uphartam asnami prayat manaha. If a devotee offers me with devotion a little leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I shall accept it. Why does the Lord say this? Is he dependent on the offering of the devotees? He is not actually dependent, but he likes to be dependent upon his devotees. This is his mercy. Similarly, he does not fear the Asuras Thus, there is no question of partiality in Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Somebody else can read text 3. Mataji, read. You may read. No, she can hear. It's text 3. Anybody, you want me to read ahead, or somebody can read? Murli Prabhu.
Yes, yes.
I'll read from.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada. So we are in chapter 7, Canto 7, chapter 1, text 3.
We'll read text 3, Prabhu.
Yes. Do you want the screen share or you have book or internet, right?
Right here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, continue, Mataji.
Text 3. Ina Subhabhaga Narayana Gunan Hati Samshayah Sumahan Jatas Sat Bhavams Chetum Arhati. O great fortunate and learned Brahmana, whether Narayan is partial or impartial has become a subject of a great doubt. Kindly dispel my doubt with positive evidence that Narayan is always neutral and equal to everyone. Since Lord Narayana is absolute, his transcendental qualities are described as one. Thus, punishments and his offerings of favor are both of the same value. Inimical actions are not displays of enmity toward his so-called enemies. But in the material field, one thinks that Krishna is favorable to devotees and unfavorable to non-devotees. When Krishna finally instructs in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. This is meant not only for Arjuna but for every living entity within this universe.
So you want me to read or you continue? You want to continue? Okay. So
You Prabhuji.
7.1.4 to 5. Sri Rishir Uvacha Sad Prishtam Maharaja Hare Charitam Adbhutam Yad Bhagavata Mahatmyam Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhanam Giyate Paramam Punyam Rishibir Naradhat Dibhi Natva Krishnaya Munaye Katayishye Hare Khatam. Translation. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, you have put before me an excellent question. Discourses concerning the activities of the Lord, in which the glories of his devotees are also found, are extremely pleasing to devotees. Such wonderful topics always counteract the miseries of the materialistic way of life. Therefore, great sages like Narada always speak upon Srimad Bhagavatam because it gives one the facility to hear and chant about the wonderful activities of the Lord. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva and then begin describing topics concerning the activities of Lord Hari." Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Sukadeva Goswami offers his respectful obeisances Krishnaya Munaye, which means to Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. One must first offer one's respectful obeisances to one's spiritual master. Sukadeva Goswami's spiritual master is his father Vyasadeva, and therefore he first offers his respectful obeisances to Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa and then begins describing topics of Lord Hari. Whenever there is an opportunity to hear about the transcendental activities of the Lord, we must take it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends Kirtaniya Sadahari. One should always engage in Krishna Katha by chanting and talking about Krishna and hearing about him. That is the only occupation of a Krishna conscious person. Nirgunopi hi ajo avakto Bhagavan prakrite para swamaya gunam avishya bhadya bhadakatam gata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is always transcendental to material qualities, and therefore he is called nirguna, or without qualities. Because he is unborn, he does not have a material body to be subjected to attachment and hatred. Although the Lord is always above material existence, through his spiritual potency, he appeared and acted like an ordinary human being, accepting duties and obligations, apparently like a conditioned soul. Purport. So-called attachment, detachment, and obligations pertain to the material nature, which is an emanation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But whenever the Lord descends and acts in this material world, he does so in his spiritual position. Although his activities materially appear different, spiritually they are absolute and non-different. Thus, it is an imposition upon the Supreme Lord to say that he is envious of anyone or friendly to anyone. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord clearly says, Avajananti ma muda manushim tanumashritam. Fools deride me when I descend in a human form. Krishna appears on this earth or within this universe without any change in his spiritual body or spiritual qualities. Indeed, he is never influenced by the material qualities. He is always free from such qualities, but he appears to act under material influence. This understanding is aropita, or an imposition. Therefore, Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam. Whatever he does, being always transcendental, has nothing to do with material qualities. Evam yo veti tatvata. Only devotees can understand the truth of how he acts. The fact is that Krishna is never partial to anyone. He is always equal to everyone, but because of imperfect vision, influenced by material qualities, one imposes material qualities upon Krishna. And when one does so, he becomes a muda, a fool. When one can properly understand the truth, one becomes devoted and nirguna, free from material qualities. Simply by understanding the activities of Krishna, one can become transcendental. And as soon as one is transcendental, he is fit to be transferred to the transcendental world. Tektva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. One who understands the activities of the Lord in truth is transferred to the spiritual world after he gives up his material body. 1.7.1.7 Sattvam rajastama iti prakriter natmano guna natesham yugapat rajan rasha ullasayevava. Translation. My dear King Parikshit, the material qualities, sattva guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna, all belong to the material world and do not even touch the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These three gunas cannot act by increasing or decreasing simultaneously. Purport. The original position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one of quality, one of equality. There is no question of his being influenced by sattva guna, rajoguna, or tamoguna. For these qualities cannot touch the Supreme Lord. The Lord is therefore called the Supreme Ishvara, Ishvara Parama Krishna. He is the Supreme Controller. He controls the material qualities. Daivi yesha gunamayi mamaya maya. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate. Material nature, prakriti, works under his order. How then can he be under the qualities of prakriti? Krishna is never influenced by the material qualities. Therefore, there is no question of partiality in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 7.1.8 Jayakale tu satvasya devarshin rajasho suran tamaso yaksha rakshasmi tatkala anuguno bhadach. Translation. When the quality of goodness is prominent, the sages and demigods flourish with the help of that quality, with which they are infused and surcharged by the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the mode of passion is prominent, the demons flourish, and when ignorance is prominent, the Yakshas and Rakshasas flourish. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in everyone's heart, fostering the reaction of Sattvaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not partial to anyone. The conditioned soul is under the influence of the various modes of material nature, and behind material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But one's victory and loss under the influence of Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna are reactions of these modes, not of the Supreme Lord's partiality. Srila Jiva Goswami in Bhagavata Sandarbha has clearly said, Satvadayo na santishe yatra cha prakrita guna sashuddha sarva shuddhebhya puman adhya prasidatu ladini chandhani samvet tva eka sarva samsito ladatapakari mishra tvaino gunavarjite. According to this statement of the Bhagavata Sandarbha, the Supreme Lord, always transcendental to the material qualities, is never affected by the influence of these qualities. The same characteristics is also present in the living being. But because he is conditioned by material nature, even the pleasure potency of the Lord is manifested in the conditioned soul as troublesome. In the material world, the pleasure enjoyed by the conditioned soul is followed by many painful conditions. For instance, we have seen that in the two great wars which were conducted by the Rajoguna and Tamoguna, both parties were actually ruined. The German people declared war against the English to ruin them, but the result was that the both parties were ruined. Although the Allies were apparently victorious, at least on paper, actually neither of them were victorious. Therefore, it should be concluded that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not partial to anyone. Everyone works under the influence of various modes of material nature. And when the various modes are prominent, the demigods or demons appear victorious under the influence of these modes. Everyone enjoys the fruit of his qualitative activities. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadhareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate nanam yada tada vidyat vibrudam sattvam iti utam Lobha pravrutti arambha karmanam ashamaspha rajasi etani jayante vibrute bharatarshava aprakasho apravrittascha pramado mohayevacha tamasi etani jayante vibrute kurunandana. The manifestations of the modes of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illumined by knowledge. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor develop. O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart, simply gives the result of the increase in various qualities, but is impartial. He supervises victory and loss, but he does not take part in them. The various modes of material nature do not work all at once. The interactions of these modes are exactly like seasonal changes. Sometimes there is an increment of Rajoguna, sometimes of Tamoguna, and sometimes Sattvaguna. Generally, the demigods are surcharged with Sattvaguna, and therefore, when the demons and the demigods fight, the demigods are victorious because of the prominence of their Sattvaguna qualities. However, this is not the partiality of the Supreme Lord. 7.1.9 Jyotir adir iva bhati sangatanna vivichyate vidyanti atmanam atmastam matitva kavayo antahata. Translation: the all-pervading personality of Godhead exists within the heart of every living being, and an expert thinker can perceive how he is present there to a large or small extent. Just as one can understand the supply of fire in the wood, the water in the water pot, or the sky within a pot, one can understand whether a living entity is a demon or a demigod by understanding that living entity's devotional performances. A thoughtful man can understand how much a person is favored by the Supreme Lord by seeing his actions. Purport: in Bhagavad Gita 10.41, the Lord says, Yadyat vibhutimat sattvam srimad guritam evava taddat evava gachatvam mama tejosmam sambhavam. Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my endeavor, my splendor. We have the practical experience of seeing that one person is able to do very wonderful things, whereas another cannot do some things and cannot even do things that require only a little common sense. Therefore, how much a devotee has been favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be tested by the activities the devotee has performed. In Bhagavad Gita 10.10, the Lord says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and who worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. This is very practical. A teacher instructs the student if the student is capable of taking more and more instructions. Otherwise, in spite of being instructed by the teacher, the student cannot make strides in his understanding. This has nothing to do with the partiality. When Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tvam, this indicates that Krishna is prepared to give bhakti yoga to everyone, but one must be capable of receiving it. That is the secret. Thus, when a person exhibits wonderful devotional activities, a thoughtful man understands that Krishna has been more favorable to his devotee. This is not difficult to understand, but envious persons do not accept that Krishna has bestowed his favor upon a particular devotee in accordance with his advanced position. Such foolish persons become envious and try to minimize an advanced devotee's activities. That is not Vaishnavism. A Vaishnava should appreciate the service rendered to the Lord by other Vaishnavas. Therefore, a Vaishnava is described in Srimad Bhagavatam as Nirmatsara. Vaishnavas are never envious of the other Vaishnavas or of anyone else, and therefore they are called Nirmatsaranam Satam. As Bhagavad Gita informs us, one can understand how one is saturated with Sattvaguna, Rajoguna or Tamoguna. In the examples given herewith, fire represents the mode of goodness. One can understand the constitution of a container for wood, petrol or other inflammable substances by the quantity of the fire. Similarly, water represents Rajoguna, the mode of passion. A small skin and the vast Atlantic Ocean both contain water. And by seeing the quantity of water in a container, one can understand the size of a container. The sky represents the mode of ignorance. The sky is present in a small earthen pot and also in outer space. Thus, by proper judgment, one can see who is Devata or demigod and who is an Asura, Yaksha or Rakshasa according to the qualities of Sattvaguna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. One cannot judge whether a person is Devata, an Asura or a Rakshasa by seeing him. But a sane man can understand this by the activities such a person performs. A general description is given in Padma Purana. Vishnu Bhakta Smruto Daiva Asurastat Viparyaya. A devotee of Lord Vishnu is a demigod, whereas an Asura or Yaksha is just the opposite. An Asura is not a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Instead, for his sense gratification, he is a devotee of the demigods, Bhutas, Pretas, and so on. Thus, one can judge who is Devata, who is Rakshasa, and who is an Asura by how they conduct their activities. The word Atmanam in this verse means Paramatmanam. The Paramatma or the super soul is situated in the core of everyone's heart, Antathaha. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayeshu Arjuna Tishtati. The Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of God, being situated in everyone's heart, gives directions to everyone in terms of one's capability in taking the instruction. The instructions of Bhagavad Gita are open to everyone, but some people understand them properly, whereas others understand them so improperly that they cannot even believe in the existence of Krishna, although reading Krishna books. Although the Gita says Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, indicating that Krishna spoke, they cannot understand Krishna. This is due to their misfortune or incapability, which is caused by Rajoguna and Tamoguna, the modes of passion and ignorance. It is because of these modes that they cannot understand Krishna, whereas an advanced devotee like Arjuna understands him and glorifies him, saying, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Param Bhavan. You are the supreme Brahman, the supreme abode and purifier. Krishna is open to everyone, but one needs the capability to understand him. By external features, one cannot understand who is favored by Krishna and who is not. According to one's attitude, Krishna becomes one's direct advisor or Krishna becomes unknown. This is not Krishna's partiality. It is his response to one's ability to understand him. According to one's receptiveness, whether one be a Devata, Asura, Yaksha or Rakshasa, Krishna's quality is proportionately exhibited. This proportionate exhibition of Krishna's power is misunderstood by less intelligent men to be Krishna's partiality, but actually it is no such thing. Krishna is equal to everyone, and according to one's ability to receive the favor of Krishna, one advances in Krishna consciousness. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura gives a practical example in this connection. In the sky, there are many luminaries. At night, even in darkness, the moon is extremely brilliant and can be directly perceived. The sun is also extremely brilliant. When covered by clouds, however, these luminaries are not distinctly visible. Similarly, the more one advances in Sattva-guna, the more his brilliance is exhibited by devotional service. But the more one is covered by Rajoguna and Tamoguna, the less visible his brilliance, for he is covered by these qualities. The visibility of one's quality does not depend on the partiality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is due to various coverings in different proportions. Thus, one can understand how far he has advanced in terms of Sattva-guna and how much is covered by Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Can anyone? 7.1.10. Come here.
You want me to read?
Yeah.
Yada sisrukshuhu pura atmanaha paro raja srujastye sha pruthaka swamayaya satvam vichitrasu riram suriswaraha saishya manasatam ishyastyasyo. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates different types of bodies, offering a particular body to each living entity according to his character and fruitive actions, the Lord revives all the qualities of material nature, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Then, as the Super Soul, he enters each body and influences the qualities of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, using Sattva Guna for maintenance, Rajoguna for creation, and Tamoguna for annihilation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although material nature is conducted by the three qualities, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, nature is not independent. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Mayadhyakshena prakriti suryate cha sacharacharam hetuna nena kaunteya jagat vipar vartate. This material nature is working under the direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestations is created and annihilated again and again. The different changes in the material world take place as action and reactions of the three gunas. But above the three guna is there this director, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the various type of bodies given to the living entities by material nature, yantra arudani mayaya, either Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, or Tamoguna is prominent. The body is produced by material nature according to the direction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, it is said here, Yada Shishkrush Shapura Atmana Para, indicating that the body is certainly created by the Lord. Karmana Deva Netrena, according to the karma of the living entity, a body is prepared under the Supreme Lord's supervision. Whether the body is of Sattva Gun, Rajogun, or Tamogun, everything is done by the directions of the Supreme Lord through the agency of the external energy, Prakruta Swamayaya, Pratha Swamayaya. In this way, in different types of bodies, the Lord Ishvara gives direction as Paramatma, and again to destroy the body. And again to destroy the body, he employs the Tamoguna. This is the way the living entities receives different types of bodies. Text 11. Kalam charantam srujatisha Ashrayam Pradhana Pummayam Naradeva Satyakrut. Translation by His Grace. O great King, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of the material and spiritual energies, who is certainly the creator of the entire cosmos, creates the time factor to allow the material energy and the living entity to act within the limits of time. Thus, the Supreme Personality is never under the time factor, under the material energy, nor under the material energy. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One should not think that the Lord is dependent on the time factor. He actually creates the situation by which material nature acts and by which the conditioned soul is placed under material nature. Both the conditioned soul and the material nature act within the time factor, but the Lord is not subject to the action and reactions of time, for time has been created by Him. To be more clear, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says that creation, maintenance, and annihilation are all under the supreme will of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 4.7, the Lord says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and the predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Since Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the controller of everything, when He appears, He is not within the limitations of material time. Janma karma cha me divyam. In this verse, the word kalam charatam srajasta ashrayam indicates that although the Lord acts within time, whether sattva gun, rajogun or tamogun is prominent, one should not think that the Lord is under time control. Time is within His control. For He creates time to act in certain way. He is not working under the control of time. The creation of the material world is one of the Lord's pastime. Everything is fully under His control. Since creation takes place when Rajogun is prominent, the Lord creates the necessary time to give facilities for Rajoguna. Similarly, He also creates the necessary time for maintenance and annihilation. Thus, this verse establishes that the Lord is not under the limitations of time. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Krishna is the supreme controller, Satchidanand Vigraha. He possesses the blissful spiritual body. Anadi, He is not subordinate to anything. He is the Lord, confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.7. Matah paratram nanyet kinschit asti dhananjaya. O conqueror of the wealth, Arjun, there is no truth superior to me. Nothing can be above Krishna, for He is the controller and creator of everything. The Mayavadi philosopher says that this material world is mithya, false, and that one should not therefore not bother about this mithya creation. Brahma satyam jagat mithya. But this is not correct. Here it is said satyakrat. Whatever is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, satyam param, cannot be called mithya. The cause of the creation is satya, true. So how can the effect of the cause be mithya? The very word satyakrat is used to establish that everything created by the Lord is factual, never false. The creation may be temporary, but it is not false. Text 12. Ya esha rajannapi kala ishita sattvam surani kami vedayatyataha tatpratya nikanas suran surapriyo rajastamaskan pramino tyuru srava. Translation. O king, this time factor enhances the sattva guna. Thus, although the Supreme Lord is the controller, he favors the demigods who are mostly situated in sattva guna. Then the demons who are influenced by tamoguna are annihilated. The Supreme Lord induces the time factor to act in different ways, but he is never partial. Rather, his activities are glorious. Therefore, he is called Urusrava. Purport. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9.29, Samoham sarva bhutesu name dveshyosti na priyaha. I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone. I am equal to all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be partial. He is always equal to everyone. Therefore, when the demigods are favored and the demons killed, this is not his partiality, but the influence of time factor. A good example in this regard is that an electrician connects both a heater and the cooler to the same electrical energy. The cause of the heating and cooling is the electrician's manipulation of the electrical energy according to his desire. But factually, the electrician has nothing to do with causing heat or cold, nor with the enjoyment or suffering that results. There have been many historical incidents in which the Lord killed a demon, but the demon attained a higher position by the mercy of the Lord. Putna is an example. Putna's purpose was to kill Krishna. Aho bakiyam stana kala kutam. She approached the house of Nanda Maharaj with the purpose of killing Krishna by smearing poison on her breast. Yet, when she was killed, she attained the highest position, achieving the status of Krishna's mother. Krishna is so kind and impartial that because he sucked Putna's breast, he immediately accepted her as his mother. This superfluous activity of killing Putna did not diminish the Lord's impartiality. He is Suradayam Sarva Bhutanam, the friend of everyone. Therefore, partiality cannot apply to the character of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who always maintains his position as the Supreme Controller. The Lord killed Putna as an enemy, but because he is being the Supreme Controller, she attained an exalted position as his mother. Srila Madhava Muni therefore remarks, Kale kale vishaye pishita dehadi karnatvat suranikam iva stitam sattvam. Ordinarily, a murderer is hanged, and in the Manu Samhita it is said that king bestows mercy upon a murderer by killing him, thus saving him from various kinds of suffering. Because of his sinful activities, such a murderer is killed by the mercy of the king. Krishna, the supreme judge, deals with matters in a similar way because he is the supreme controller. The conclusion, therefore, is that the Lord is always impartial and always very kind to all living entities. Anybody else wants to read?
Murli Prabhu,
Text 13.
Yes, yes.
Take-
is what?
Shiva
Hare
Prabhu, Shiva Prabhu, you're on mute, I think.
What?
He's unmuted.
No, he is on.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you read?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Text 13.
त्रयो दह्रत् पूर्वम् इतिहास सुरासिना प्रीत्यामः कृत्वो राजन् प्रच्यते जत सत्रवे. Translation by Prabhupada. Formerly, O king, when Maharaja Yudhishthira was performing the Rajasuya sacrifice, the great sage Narada, responding to his inquiry, recited historical facts showing how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always impartial, even when killing demons. In this regard, he gave a vivid example. Purport. This relates to how the Lord exhibits his impartially even when killing Shishupala in the arena of the Rajasuya Yagna performed by Maharaja Yudhishthira. 7.1 1.14 to 15. दृष्ट्वा महद्भूतां राजा राजसूये महाकृतौ वासुदेवा भगवती सयुग्नं सेदि भूजय तत्रासीनं सुरारिष्णं राजा पाण्डुसुता कृतौ पप्रच्छा विस्मितामाना मुनीनां श्रवतम idam. Translation by His Grace Srila Prabhupada. O king, at the Rajasuya sacrifice, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the son of Maharaja Pandu, personally saw Shishupala merge into the body of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, struck with wonder, he inquired about the reason for this from the great sage Narada, who was seated there. While he inquired, all the sages present also heard him ask his question. 7.1.16 Sri Yudhishthira Uvacha Aho Ati Adbhutam Hi Et Durlabhai Kathanam Api Vasudeve Pari Tattva Prapti Chaidasya Vidvishaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired, it is wonderful that the demon Shishupala merged into the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though extremely envious. This Sayujya Mukti is impossible to attain even for a great transcendentalist. How then did the enemy of the Lord attain it? Purport. There are two classes of transcendentalists, the Jnanis and the Bhaktas. The Bhaktas do not aspire to merge into the existence of the Lord, but the Jnanis do. Shishupala, however, was neither a Jnani nor a Bhakta, yet simply by envy of the Lord, he attained an exalted position by merging into the Lord's body. Certainly, this was astonishing, and therefore Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired about the cause for the Lord's mysterious mercy to Shishupala.
7.1.17 एतद्वेदितुम् इच्छामः सर्व एव वयं मुने भगवान् निन्दाय वेणु द्विजै स्वमसि पतितः. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O great sage, we are all eager to know the cause for this mercy of the Lord. I have heard that formerly a king named Vena blasphemed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that all the Brahmanas consequently obliged him to go to hell. Shishupala should also have been sent to hell. How then did he merge into the Lord's existence? 7.1.18 Damo Gosha Sutta Papa Arabhya Kalabashat Basanat Samprapte Amarasi Govinde Dantavakrascha Durmatihi. Translation. From the very beginning of his childhood, when he could not even speak properly, Shishupala, the most sinful son of Damagosha, began blaspheming the Lord. and he continued to be envious of Sri Krishna until death. Similarly, his brother Dantavakra continued the same habits. 7.1.19 Shapator askrid Vishnum yad Brahma param avyayam shivtro na jato jivyayam nandam vivishsatustamaha. Translation. Although these two men, Shishupala and Dantavakra, repeatedly blasphemed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, Krishna, the Supreme Brahman, they were quite healthy. Indeed, their tongues were not attacked by white leprosy, nor did they enter the darkest region of hellish life. We are certainly most surprised by this. Purport. Krishna is described by Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita 10.12 as follows. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam. You are the Supreme Brahman and Supreme Abode and Purifier. Herein this is confirmed. Vishnum Yad Brahma Param Avyayam. The Supreme Vishnu is Krishna. Krishna is the cause of Vishnu, not vice versa. Similarly, Brahman is not the cause of Krishna. Krishna is the cause of Brahman. Therefore, Krishna is Parabrahman. Yad Brahma Param Avyayam.
Brajesh Govinda Prabhu, would you like to try? 7.1.20. And Mukti Datri Mata, you also can try later. Prabhu, you are muted. Can you please unmute? Thank you.
7.1.20. Katham tasmina bhagavati dravyargrahya dhamani pashyamo sarva lokhanam laham uvatara unabhasha. The translation: how was it possible for Shishupala and Dantavakra in the presence of many exalted persons to enter very easily into the body of Krishna, whose nature is difficult to attain? Purport Srila Prabhupada. Shishupal and Dantavakra were formerly Jaya and Vijaya, the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha. Merging into the body of Krishna was not their final destination. For some time they remained merged, and later they received the liberations of Surupya and Salukya, living on the same planet as the Lord in the same bodily form. The Shastras give evidence that if one blasphemes the Supreme Lord, his punishment is to remain in hellish life for many millions of years, more than one suffers by killing many Brahmanas. Shishupal, however, instead of entering hellish life, immediately and very easily received Sajija Mukti. That such a privilege had been offered to Shishupala was not merely a story. Everyone saw it happen. There was no scarcity of evidence. How did it happen? Maharaja Yudhishthira was very much surprised. 7.1.21. Etad brahmatri mi bhudira dipachira iva bhaibana bruhit etad adbhutam jnanam bhavabhyanam hi artha karanam. Translation: this matter is undoubtedly very wonderful. Indeed, my intelligence has become disturbed, just as the flame of a candle is disturbed by a blowing wind. O Narada Muni, you know everything. Kindly let me know the cause of this wonderful event. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Shastras enjoin tad ujjana tamso gurumo ibambi kachadmo tad vichana tramo se gurumo ibabhi gacchato samit panchit storo triyam brahma nishama. To understand these things properly, one must humbly approach. With firewood in hand, a spiritual master who is learned in the Vedas and firmly devoted to the absolute truth. Mundaka Upanishad 1 by 1.2.12. When one is perplexed by the difficult problems of life, to solve them, one must approach a guru like Narada or his representative in this disciple succession. Maharaja Yudhishthir therefore requested Narada to explain the causes of such a wonderful event. Can you please try to continue any other chapter, please?
The Mukti Datri Mataji can try. Couple of slokas. Yes, please.
Seven point 1.22.
7.1.22. Sri Bhadaragniruvacha Rajnastad Vacha Akranya Narada Bhagavan Rishi Tushta Prahatam Vaishya Shrina Vartashtat Sadakataha. Translation: Sri Shukadev Goswami said, after hearing the request of Maharaj Yudhishthira, Narada Muni, the most powerful spiritual master who knew everything, was very pleased. Thus he replied in the presence of everyone taking part in the Yajna. Text 7.1.23. Sri Narada Uvacha Nindanna Stava Shatkara Nakarar Thama Kelibaram Pradhana Prayaro Rajana Abhivekena Kalpitam. Translation: the great sage Sri Naradji said, O king, blasphemy and praise, chastisement and respect are experienced because of ignorance. The body of the conditioned soul is planned by the Lord for suffering in the material world through the agency of the eternal energy.
External.
In Bhagavad Gita 18.61, it is said, Ishara Sarva Bhutanam Ridesha Arjuna Stishtati Brahmanam Sarva Bhutani Yatra Rudhani Mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. A material body is manufactured by the external energy according to the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conditioned soul, being seated on this machine, wandered throughout the universe, and because of his bodily conception of life, he only suffers. Actually, the sufferings of being blasphemed and the enjoyment of being praised, the acceptance of a good welcome or of chastisement by harassed bird, are felt in the material conception of life. But since the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not material, but Sachidananda Vigraha,
He is unaffected. He is unaffected.
He is unaffected by insults or greetings, blasphemy or prayers, being always unaffected and complete. He does not feel extra pleasure
when offered nice prayers by the devotees, although the devotees benefit by offering prayers of the Lord, to the Lord. Indeed, the Lord is very kind to his so-called enemy because one who always think of the supreme personality of Godhead as an enemy also benefits, although he thinks of the Lord adversely. If a conditioned soul thinking of the Lord as an enemy or a friend somehow or other becomes attached to the Lord, he receives great benefits. Text 7.1.24. Himsha tad abhimanena dhana parushaya yatha vaishyamayam iha bhutanam mamaham iti parthiva. Translation. My dear king, the conditioned soul, being in the bodily conception of life, considers his body to be his self and consider everything in relationship with the body to be his. Because he has this wrong conception of life, he is subjected to dualities like praise and chastisement. Purport given by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Only when a conditioned soul accepts the body as himself does he feel the effects of chastisements or praise. Then he determines one person to be his enemy and another his friends and wants to chastise the enemy and welcome the friend. This creation of friends and enemies is a result of one bodily conception of life. Text 7.1.25. Yan nibaddho bimano yam tamba hata tad bahat praninam vidha tatya yashakavi kaivalyat abhimana khilat manaha prayashodhama kurtiryi himsha kanesha kalpayate. Translation. Because of the bodily conception of life, the conditioned soul thinks that when the body is annihilated by living being is annihilated. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the supreme controller, the super soul of all living entities, because he has no material body. He has no false conception of I and mine. It is therefore incorrect to think that he feels pleasure or pain when blasphemed or offered prayers. This is impossible for him. Thus, he has no enemy and no friend. When he chastises the demons, it is for their good. And when he accepts the prayers of the devotees, it is for their good. He is accepted neither by prayers, he is affected neither by prayers nor by blasphemy. Purport. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Because of being covered by material bodies, the conditioned soul, including even greatly learned scholars and falsely educated professors, all think that as soon as the body is finished, everything is finished. This is due to their bodily conception of life. Krishna has no such bodily conception, nor is his body different from his self. Therefore, since Krishna has no material conception of life, how can he be affected by material prayers and equations? Krishna's body is described here with the koibalya, non-difference from himself. Since everyone has a material bodily conception of life, if Krishna had such a conception, what would be the difference between Krishna and the conditional soul? Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita are accepted as final because he does not possess a material body. As soon as one has a material body, he has four deficiencies. But since Krishna doesn't possess a material body, he has no deficiencies. He is always spiritually conscious and blissful. Ishara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. His form is eternal blissful knowledge. Sachidananda Vigraha, Ananda Chinmaya Rasha, Kaivalya are the same. Krishna can expand himself as Paramatma in the core of everyone's heart. In Bhagavad Gita 13.3, this is confirmed. Kshatrogyam chapi mam vidhi sama kshatreshu Bharata. The Lord is the Paramatma, the Atma or super self of the individual souls. Therefore, it must naturally be concluded that he has no defective bodily conception. Although situated in everyone's body, he has no bodily conception of life. He is always free from such conceptions, and thus he cannot be affected by anything in relation to the material body of the jiva. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 16.19, Tan aham doishata kuram shamsharesha naradhaman naradhaman krishipami ajasram ashubham ashurishu evo jonisha. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Whenever the Lord punishes person like demons, however, such punishment is meant for the good of the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul, being envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, may accuse him, saying Krishna is bad, Krishna is a thief, and so on. But Krishna, being kind to all living entities, but not consider such equations. Instead, he takes account of the conditioned soul's chanting of Krishna so many times. He sometimes punishes such demons for one life by putting them in a lower species. But then, when they have stopped accusing him, they are liberated in the next life because of chanting Krishna's name constantly. Blaspheming the Supreme Lord or his devotee is not at all good for the conditioned soul. But Krishna, being very kind, punishes the conditioned soul in one life for such sinful activities and then takes him back home, back to Godhead. The vivid example for this in Vitrashura, who is formerly Chitraketu Maharaj, a great devotee, because he derided Lord Shiva, the foremost of all devotees. He had no except the body of a demon called. He had to accept the body of a demon called Brota. But then he was taken back to Godhead. Thus, when Krishna punishes a demon or conditioned soul, he stops that soul's habit of blaspheming him. And when the soul becomes completely pure, the Lord takes him back to Godhead. Should I read more, Prabhu?
No, we are actually 9:57. So probably we'll end today. We didn't expect it will take this long, but anyways, it's good to know. We got to know a lot of information. You know, how Krishna is not being partial. Anyway, so we'll stop at 25, 7.1.25. We'll continue tomorrow, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. So we'll see how much we can cover. If we are getting delayed, then we'll think about something else, because by the time we'll come to May 6th, we should have completed all the chapters, because eventually, you know, it's a pastime of Prahlad Maharaj. So now it is introduction. Yes. Okay, setting the stage for that. But we'll have to, we'll come there, you know, by May 6th. Okay. So is it good tomorrow 2 to 4?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much again for participating. Sorry for the delay. We'll try to see if we can speed up tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Prabhuji, another thing, if this way, like translation, purport, everything is taking time, even from Veda base, we can read those summary notes. Okay.
Which one?
In the Vedabase.net, you know how they give under for each chapter, each verse they give.
See, the most important thing is verse is important for us to memorize, or even to recite. Verse is very important. These are direct Lord's verses. So most important is the purport of Srila Prabhupada. So that is where the essence is. Okay, so that is where he explains very clearly, like now we saw. That is very important purport, and that is my opinion, personal opinion.
Really, no, in order to finish, I'm saying, like, is it really, can we
right,
finish?
we will see. If we are really getting late, we'll directly jump into Prahlad pastime.
Okay. Because it's very ambitious. We're moving very slowly compared to your plan.
But maybe tomorrow we can take a little bit longer, 2 to 4, that we can do 2 to 5.
Correct. Yes. So tomorrow is being Saturday, so we can extend. If everyone is okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, because then we can catch up a little bit.
Correct.
Well, we can move to the core of it, you know, like you said, Prahlad Maharaj.
Yeah.
We'll
see, we still have 4 or 5 days left, so we'll plan accordingly as it goes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much again.
Okay, thank you, sir, Prabhuji.
Kripa Sindhubhye
Thank you, sir.
Pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Namo Namaha.
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo.
Vaishnavrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Muktidatri, when are you due?
June 7th, Mataji.
Okay, so we'll pray for you that everything goes nicely, and let us know. I'll be very happy.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.